My mom passed away when I was 17 years old. Now that I'm a mom myself, I have an 18-month-old. Home was a way that my mom cared for people. She decorated it, she made it beautiful, because my mom had a huge influence on me, just my personal style and my love for design and interior design and getting dressed up. And
what if the way we design our home could help us stay connected to the people we've lost? Hi everyone, welcome to Not Just a Home Thing from Two Pages. I'm Natalie. Today, Annie shares how design became a way to carry her mother's memory forward, along with practical ideas for creating a home that feels more personal, functional, and truly lived in. Hi Annie.
Hi Natalie.
I really love your story, especially you design kind of a way to remember your mom. That's so touching. Oh my gosh. You share that your love for design began with your mother and the home she created. What did she understand about home that you only came to appreciate later in life?
So my mom passed away when I was 17 years old, and now that I'm a mom myself, I have an 18-month-old, it really has come full circle for me in understanding that home was a way that my mom cared for people. So she decorated it, she made it beautiful. We had a lot of decorative elements and artwork and family photos that reflected like our family and trips that we went on to Bermuda growing up, which she also did growing up as well. But just, it was the base for all of the traditions that we had at home. And we would have, like on Friday nights when I was a little bit older, we would have pizza night and have our friends over and play Phase 10, which is a card game. And at Christmas, she always would hunt for all the little gifts for me and my sister, and it made it very special, very thoughtful of the little trinkets or big gifts that she would get us that were underneath the tree. Or another thing is playing loud music in the house. We would have cleaning parties and we would turn up the stereo and sing at the top of our lungs while cleaning the house. So it's just little traditions like that and little special moments that she kind of used our home as the canvas for, as a way to care for me, my sister, our family, and all of our friends that were also family as well.
Yeah, so do you think some small routine or family routine can shape our sense of home? Maybe it's more deeply than some expensive furniture or some beautiful design.
Yeah, design is really powerful when it supports the rituals that you have at home rather than aiming to just have a home that looks Pinterest worthy or Instagram worthy. So when it supports those rituals of the things that you love doing day in and day out, like for me, I'm a singer and music is a really important part of my life. So I love to make sure, in one of my living room downstairs, my living space, I have speakers, like floor speakers with a receiver and an old school CD player and, just a whole stereo setup. And that would not be for everyone, but that's for me because I'm a music person. And I know that, Teddy my son, he'll grow up, we'll watch movies or play music together or put some vinyl records on and turn it up and have a good time and have a little dance party together. And so that's a ritual that I love for myself, that I'm going to create those memories in my home. So it's really important, with my clients that I work with, I'm an interior designer and I own my own business, Spotted Interior Design. And a lot of the design that I do for our clients' homes, it's really about getting to know them, their families, their rituals, what the special activities and memories are that they create in their home so that I can support that with the design that I'm creating for them.
Wow, that's so cool. For next question, you share that your mother continued to be deeply present in the way you understand and create a sense of home. Only if you feel comfortable, could you share how your relationship with home evolved after saying goodbye to her at such a young age?
Yeah, she passed away when I was 17, so I had my last year at home, my senior year of high school, and then I went off to college after that and wasn't really back in my family home after she had passed away. So for me, as I grew older, creating my own home became a way of rebuilding that sense of grounding that she created for our family in our home, since I didn't really live there after she had passed away, only for like a year, and then summer breaks and things like that. So creating my own home with my own rituals. I have some artwork that was her, some watercolor prints by an artist named Birdsey out of Bermuda. And I have a few of those hanging on my walls. I have these dishes. They're Port Marion botanic gardens, and they're very grandma-y with like florals and butterflies on them. And so I have a lot of design elements in my home that make me think about my home growing up and the memories that I've created with my mother. And so, yeah, creating my own home that reflects myself, my style, my rituals, and how I want the space to feel and be part of like my daily routine for myself and my son. That's become a way that I've rebuilt the sense of grounding that I had from her.
So for someone listening who has lost a loved one, how can they give that person's memory a place in the home, but without making the space feel kind of frozen in the past?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's important you can focus on a few objects that really help you keep that person's memory alive through the space that you live in. Like for me, the artwork that was my mom's, it also goes really well with my personal style and my home style, because my mom had a huge influence on me and just my personal style and my love for design and interior design and getting dressed up and hair and makeup, all the girly girl things. And so yeah, just focusing on a few things so that we don't want the home to feel like a shrine, or like it's not a reflection of how you live in this space, or it's not a reflection of you and your personal style. If something's not feeling calming, if let's say it's a piece of furniture, you can always have it refinished. If it's a big piece of mahogany furniture and that's not really your style, you could have it repainted to a color that better reflects what you like, or you could have it restained to a different stain. So things like that. You can have things reupholstered or refinished to have them better reflect your personal style in your home. But a few key pieces, like for me, the artwork that was my mom's. I have the dishes in my kitchen, the Port Marion botanic gardens that I use. I've used them every day for the last 15 years. I have my own set, and like all the bowls and the trays and the platters. So when I'm entertaining, I have all of the dishes out that remind me of my mom and how she used to entertain with that same print at home growing up. And then I do have some photos of her around the house as well. I have a big gallery wall on my stairwell going upstairs, and I love the beach so much. I own a vacation rental out in Oak Island, North Carolina, that I designed and I host on Airbnb. So I have photos from our time at Oak Island. I have photos in Bermuda with Teddy when he was 6 months old. And then I have a photo of my sister and I on the beach in Bermuda when I was 9 and she was 3, and my mom took that photo of us. And so I printed that and I put it in a frame on the wall. So even though she's not in the photo, every time I walk up the stairs and I see it, I know that she took that picture, and it's like a stamp in time of me and my sister when we were such a younger age. And it just makes me think about how she shaped my world and the person that I am when I get to see that photo as part of the larger gallery wall of all my current memories over the last couple of years at the beach.
Oh my gosh, that's so touching.
Thank you.
Beyond physical safety, what makes a home feel emotionally safe?
Emotionally safe, I think it's just the rituals that you create at home, for it to become your safe place, that you really can just like walk through the door, breathe a sigh of relief, and the design, the decor, that it reflects your routines and how you live in the space. So if there is a space in your home that's, maybe cluttered or not functioning well for you and stresses you out, like that could be a part of your home that you focus on. Like, let me tackle this one area that's not functioning how I want it to. Like I have a client right now and she has a closet right outside of her garage and she's like, this doesn't work for our family. It's a closed closet. It's very cluttered. I want to rip it out and create a little built-in mudroom with lockers for my kids. So they each have their own locker. And I just want it to be a better way for us to utilize this closet. We're in an area that we're constantly coming in and out of and create a drop zone that better fits how they're going to use the home. So I think that's something that you can do to try to make some changes so that home feels more calm and peaceful for you.
Yes. And when I feel uncertain, what is one gentle step someone can take at home to feel a little more grounded and supported?
I think everyone's different. Like for me, clutter really is just, I can't do clutter. And so just finding ways for me, this is a big one, like finding ways that I can organize my home so that I don't have things pile up on the countertops or just like pile up in different areas of the home. So I have a storage closet downstairs and I had these like huge shelves put up on the walls, kind of like you would do in a garage because I don't have a garage. So that's where I can put like some extra bins and luggage and baby items that no longer fit. And so I think, whatever it is that's like driving you crazy about your home, for me, it's organization. Like I like things to be off the counters and things to look very clean and together. And I love that my toddler, his favorite toy is his play vacuum. So we play vacuum together where I get the big vacuum, the stick vacuum out, and we like run around the living room vacuuming together. So that helps.
I agree. Same. Like when I like crazy for this year, when I face some crazy thing, I start to like organize my home, to change my furniture's position, and to decorate my home, to clean my home. I feel it's kind of a good way to let the life's control back to my hand. Yeah, even it's only some small thing like clean the floor or podcast, do something else like what I'm really interested about. Yeah, it's really helpful.
Yeah, I think when your life if something feels out of control at home, just pick one small corner or small area that you can treat as like self-care for your home and either clean it up and organize it or decorate it. Like for me, it was like about a year ago, I was looking at my staircase walls and I was like, these are just big white empty walls. And I don't like how sterile and just plain this feels as I'm walking up the stairs. And I've been in my home for about 2.5 years. Like decorating and furnishing your home is a process that evolves as you live in your home and you figure out your life and how you're going to be using the space. And so for me, after being here for a little over a year, I was like, I don't want blank walls anymore going up my staircase. And so that was like one project that I focused on for about a month. And I did all the measurements for the gallery photo frames. And then I went through all my pictures on my phone and then also pictures that I had in a box and scanned in and printed those. And it was a really fun project to, just focus on one space and not feel overwhelmed trying to tackle everything all at once. If you try to do too many things, you have like 100 unfinished projects. So just find one place that you can really focus to do some self-care for yourself in your home, and then seeing it all come together will just make your home make you feel even more grounded in your space.
Yeah, I agree. And may I ask, can a temporary rented or shared or unfinished home still give us a real sense of belonging in your perspective?
Yeah, I don't think that you have to own your home for it to be your safe space. You can own it, you can rent it, you could be staying with friends and family. It's really about the routines and the people that you have in your home that help it feel like your safe space, not whether you own it or not. And so, if you do own your home, you have more flexibility with what you can do with painting and renovations and moving walls and some of like those heavier investment type of updates. But if you're renting, there's so much inspiration online. Like you could take a weekend to paint a room or put some peel and stick wallpaper up or do some light updates like changing a light fixture or the hardware on your cabinets. It doesn't have to be huge updates. You can invest, a few hundred, or depending on your budget, maybe like $2,000 or $3,000 on some simple updates in your home space to make it feel more like yourself. But you really can achieve a lot with furniture and accessories and pillows and things like that.
What are some simple ways to make a space feel emotionally yours?
For me, I love having pictures on the walls. Like behind me in the middle, I have a cork board and I have like fabric samples, booklets that I've printed out for Spotted Interior Design. I have Teddy's birth announcement card, his first birthday invitation. I have a photo of my grandmother. I have a picture right behind me. That's me, my mom, and my sister when I was in high school. And then the other picture on the other side is me and my sister at the beach in the Bahamas. And so I love to surround myself with the things that remind me of who I am and the people that I love and that love me as well. So for me, the photo is in the frame or on the cork board. I have the gallery walls in my staircase outside my dining room. I have some like large poster size gallery prints as well, like different pictures on the beach of me and Teddy. So I love to surround myself with the things that, the people and places that I love and make me feel like me.
Oh, that's so warm. What would you suggest to someone who is moving into a new city and does not feel at home yet? Like me, I was international student, my hometown in China, but now I'm in LA. I just graduated from USC. Yeah, when I already stay in Los Angeles for 4 years, and when I just come here, wow, it's very like different culture, very different environment. Like my parents far away, like only me. I have to be so independent to start my life in a brand new city. But any suggestion for some people like me?
I've been through that too. So I'm originally from New York and I moved to New Hampshire in 2010. I lived up there for 7 years.
Oh.
And then I relocated to Raleigh in 2017. And so part of making a new city feel like your home is building your life around the flow of that city. So Raleigh is very entrepreneurial. There's a lot of families. There's a lot of tech companies and startups here. And so I just immersed myself in the people in the city. I found networking events to go to for business owners, women's networking events. I really tried to establish my roots here by finding my community of people that I could surround myself with. I found, I went and explored different restaurants and coffee shops and gyms to see what it was that I liked that I could add into my routine. Because really, like your daily routine and the habits that you repeat day in and day out is what are going to make a new city feel like home for you and not so new and foreign. So some of my I love to work out also, and I have the same gym that I've gone to for the last 6 years. And I've moved a couple times around Raleigh since I've been here. I built a home when I first moved here, and then I lived in a condo in downtown Raleigh, and then I moved into my current home, which is a townhouse, like 15 minutes outside of downtown Raleigh, and I've been here for about 2.5 years. So some of my routines that I started when I lived in my condo, I still have those routines for myself now in my new home. So even though my home changed, my routines stayed the same, and I still have that same familiarity with the city that I'm in. And I have a lot of friends that I made from networking events that I attended that I still talk to today. And so it's definitely helped how Raleigh feel more like home. I think the community, the people, and the routines that you can establish for yourself definitely help you get into a good rhythm.
And talk about like friend. I know your company is a Spotted Interior Design. Begin with your best friend trusted you to design their home. Is a home or company?
So she had an investment property that she purchased in a neighboring city called Cary, North Carolina. It's right next to Raleigh. So yeah, she had purchased an investment home, and she knew that she was actually my realtor when I moved down here in 2017. So it was like end of 2017 when I moved here. So about a year and a half, 2 years later, she was telling me how she bought this property. And I was like, well, I love design. And if you want any help picking out the finishes, let me know. And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And so she's kind of like a very free spirited type of person. And she's, yeah, just believes in everyone around her, and she's everyone's biggest cheerleader. So she was like, yeah, you want to pick the finishes? I'll schedule all the contractors, and we'll just figure it out, because I've never done this before. So that's what we did for a couple of months. We ripped out everything in this little like 1950s ranch and redesigned it together. And it was from that process that I learned that my best friend simply didn't just trust my taste. She trusted my judgment, my follow through, and my ability to understand her goals. And that translates a lot as, now that I'm a interior designer full time, I've been doing this for 7 years. That translates into the clients that I work with. Like, there is a huge amount of trust that comes with inviting a designer into your home to learn about you, your family, your rituals, how you want to use this space. And the investment that they're making is going to be huge. And so I don't take that lightly, and to know that, I'm trusted for not only my design eye, but that I'm going to follow through. I'm really going to take the time to understand my clients, their needs, their family on a very deep level. Like, being an interior designer is like a very emotional job for me and the clients. So yeah, I think but that's where it started. That's where she showed me that, I didn't quite have the skills when I was first starting this, but the fact that there was trust and that she knew that I could follow through and deliver on something, that really is a really big part of interior design too.
Have you worked on project where the client emotional transformation was more meaningful than the visual transformation?
Yeah, so I have a recent project. She's actually one of my first friends that I met when I moved to Raleigh. I think we met at a women's networking event at the beginning of 2018. No, I met someone at the event who introduced me to this friend. Anyways, so she had been wanting to renovate her kitchen for a while. We had been ideating on her kitchen renovation for probably 2 or 3 years before we actually did it. And she lives in a really beautiful 1940s single family home in a part of Raleigh called 5 Points, which is like a very modern, and they take a lot of the older homes and they'll tear them down and build newer homes there, but we're preserving her home. And we updated it to how she wanted to use the space. So originally the kitchen was compartmentalized into 3 different rooms with cased openings that allowed you to walk from one room to the next. So the kitchen was compartmentalized into like these 3 separate spaces, and it just did not flow well with the home and how she wanted to use the space. Like, I had been at her home when she had like a big girls' night. We did a clothing swap and we did a potluck and we were drinking wine and hanging out. And it was definitely challenging to have that many people with the potluck food out and the drinks, with the kitchen being so compartmentalized. And I remember when I was at her house for that get together, and she was like, I cannot wait to renovate this kitchen and make it more open. This is so cramped and I hate it. And I was like, we'll get there. And so we did renovate her kitchen last year and took down all of those walls that made it into 3 separate rooms and open up the whole space. And at the end of those 3 rooms was the living room and the entry when you walked into the house, and then a guest bedroom, guest bathroom, and then the stairs upstairs. So we opened it up and we ended up doing a galley kitchen. I know that it's really popular to have a kitchen that has an island, and most of the renovations I do are that format. But for her home, it just made the most sense to do a galley kitchen where everything was open up in the middle and you could see straight down into the living room, and it became just a natural flow for entertaining, which she loves to do, because you had the living room on one side, the galley kitchen in the middle, big, open, expansive countertops for all the potluck and all the drinks that she loves to have out, when she's entertaining. And then on the other side is the dining room. So she had a dining table, and then since then she's also added an outdoor patio space. So it's like indoor, outdoor entertaining. So that for her was a very emotional transformation because it compartmentalized non-functional space that she wasn't proud of and wasn't functional for her. And she explicitly expressed to me during the get-together how, she couldn't wait to transform this space to something that felt more functional for her. Well, when I went there after the renovation was finished, she then decorated it with she's from her heritage is Polish. And so she had like all of this Polish artwork and all of these historic figures from her family and photos of her father when he was in the war. And she was just so proud of how she displayed such personal pieces throughout the kitchen on this open shelving wall that we have. And we filmed a whole video together about it where she walked us through how she decorated the kitchen and how it was so meaningful to her now, this part of her home. So I saw, as her friend, just the huge emotional transformation that occurred from, being in her home before we renovated the space and then afterwards, and seeing how she, excitedly decorated it and bought this gorgeous runner rug that's in the middle of the galley that she found on Facebook Marketplace that's also vintage. And so she just has so much love and pride and joy for the space that I feel like the previous version of that kitchen was really not able to let her have her like full personality and the emotional side of a home. She wasn't connecting with it in the previous version.
Yeah, have a right room, right home is it's really important. I know you encourage people to begin with how they want a space to feel rather than choosing some style label. Can you give listener a simple exercise to identify what they need their home to do for them right now?
Yeah, I think that it is really important to do what's true to you and what makes you happy. So like my tagline for my company is that our homes, the design is unique as our clients, like unique and playful as our clients. Mm-hmm. So I really try not to follow trends of what I'm seeing online through different, Instagram accounts and things like that. I really try to create spaces that feel genuinely unique to the clients and what they want, what's going to make them excited when they walk through the door. Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't have to be a specific style. Your home doesn't have to be a specific style and look like what you see on Pinterest or what you see on Instagram. Like my friend who has all of the Polish pottery and artwork and knickknacks all over her kitchen. It's really beautiful because it's a reflection of her and her heritage and her family, who she wants to remember, because her dad's no longer with her either. Mm-hmm. I have another client in Cary, and I would describe their style as modern Gothic. And so the entire interior of their home is color drenched in black paint, tricorn by Sherwin-Williams. And we're going to be renovating parts of their home later this year. All of the kitchen cabinets are black with this beautiful quartzite countertop. And the style of the cabinets and the finishers are, very traditional and timeless. Like it's a micro shaker style cabinet, beautiful quartzite stone, but all of the black and all the moodiness, like it's a reflection of them and the style that they love and what's going to make them happy when they walk in the door, make them feel like themselves. Like home should feel like a reflection of you and who you are. And like for me, that's having like pictures of my family, pictures of the beach, some kind of like girly beachy decor because I'm a very girly girl. That's how my mom was too. And I have just huge influences from her, and like the person that I am is just a big reflection of who she was as well. And so I think it has to be true to who you are and what you like. And maybe some simple places to start could be like a piece of art on your wall or the bed sheets in your bedroom, and picking out a throw pillow that's really just like a fun departure from what you would normally pick but makes you happy. Or even just like a picture frame that you want to put on your console, plates, silverware, maybe some fun glasses in different colors or textures. It doesn't have to be everything in your home. You can, pick one or two categories and then go from there.
Of course. I like the idea. For people living with children, pets, limited storage, or busy routine, what design decision usually make the biggest difference in daily life?
Yeah, layout is really big if you have children, pets, storage limitations, busy routines. I lived in a 900 square foot condo before moving into my townhouse, and it was just me. So I didn't have all the baby stuff that I have now. But layout was a really big one for me, like choosing furniture pieces where there was a lot of storage in those pieces that were multifunctional. I redesigned my closet in my condo so that it had a ton of drawers and overhead storage above my hanging clothing space. And so the layout is really important so that it's practical for how you live in the space so that it can be organized and you can have everything away. The durable materials is a really big one. So I use a lot of performance fabrics for furnishings that I source for clients. And then we also have a company that will put a sealant on the furniture so that if you spill something on it, it really just like rolls up and beads off. And then they give you a solution that you can spray on if you need to clean it a little bit further. Open storage for kids. Like in my living room, I have a lot of like open bins with all of Teddy's toys and a little like play mat in the corner with the play kitchen for him to have his independence and accessibility to all of his toys. Furniture that supports more than one use is a really good one. I have in my living room that's kind of a play area for Teddy. It's right off of my kitchen, so it's full function. It's a living room. I have my sofa in there, but then I replaced some of my actual furniture. Like I had a marble coffee table, and I replaced that with a play coffee table. It's from House of Noah. It's really cute. It has a washable cover that you can take off and throw in the wash if it gets stains on it, but it doesn't look like kids' furniture. It's just this like large, oversized, plush coffee table that's oval in shape, and it has like a ivory and blue stripe on it, so it's kind of coastal and chic and looks like it could be furniture. And then there's like little matching floral ottomans as well. So that furniture supports the use of the space, having a 18-month-old that walks like a little drunk man and crashes into everything. And then it's also like I think like nice and aesthetic to like match all the other like the rugs and the pillows and the backsplash tile that I have in my kitchen, which is a blue color. So it's multifunctional for me in that way.
Okay, it's possible like take a picture for your table, give our audience an example how amazing your table it is.
I have photos of my living room that I can show.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, that's nice. And may I ask which element of the home are usually worth investing more in, and where can people comfortable save?
A lot of times I'll have my clients invest in the larger pieces that you're sitting on and using daily. So sofas, side chairs, coffee tables, your bed and your bed frame, things like that. Places where you can save, things that are not going to get such heavy use, such as nightstands, like in a guest bedroom, you could do some less expensive nightstands. Guest bedroom in general, because they're probably not going to be using that daily. You could probably save and get some budget items there. Side tables, decor, throw pillows, blankets. Not everything has to be designer. I do mix and match a lot with the designs that I have. Like I have like some key items from Target that I always source. So like candles, faux plants, and picture frames I love to get from Target for clients. And then in terms of renovations, so I also have my real estate license in the state of North Carolina. And when I'm designing for a client, I'm also thinking about, even if they're not thinking about resale and they're like, we're never gonna leave this house, you just never know. Things can happen, and you can get a different job and have to relocate, and situations change. And so I always take the approach of, how can I protect my client's investment and their equity in the home with the design decisions that we're making. And so a big one is to make sure that the design selections align with the style and the architecture of the home. So if your home is a little bit more traditional, we don't want to be putting super modern finishes in because it's going to compete and it's going to look like it's not intentional. We want it to look like it's always been there, but it's updated and it's fresh and it feels intentional. Mm-hmm. And just to go a little bit further from that, it should align with the neighborhood of where your home is as well. Like there's certain pockets of neighborhoods in Raleigh where like you could be in the very southern traditional country club type of neighborhood where you can get away with a palm print wallpaper in a guest bedroom. Or you could be in Five Points, which is a little bit more modern, and you could do black cabinets in a little bit more of a modern style there. So I think true to the architecture of your home and true to the style of the neighborhood that you're living in, and also picking selections that are in line with the price point of your home. So we don't want to be putting, really expensive marble in a home that really should have a quartz type of material on their countertops. So just aligning the investment of the materials with the price point of the home is a really big one too.
What would you say to someone who is maybe like already emotionally exhausted and does not have enough energy to fix the whole home?
You can do it in phases. You don't have to do everything all at once. I have clients that I've done a little bit of everything, a little something once a year. For 5-6 years. You don't have to do it all at once. I know that we live in the age of social media and instant gratification, and it seems that people do things overnight and they do it big, and some people do, but if you don't have the capacity, the mental bandwidth to handle so many changes all at once, or maybe you don't have the financial ability as well, then space it out. There's nothing wrong with spacing it out because it gives you an opportunity to live in your home and see how you use the space. And you can really be intentional with how you update it over time. And, I do that in my own home. I've been here for 2.5 years, and like every couple of months, I'll pick a different project that I want to tackle. My current project I'm tackling is removing the builder grade mirrors from my bathrooms and putting in some metal frame mirrors. And so you just pick one thing at a time that you can focus on, and it's much more manageable and you won't get burned out.
When you look at the home you create today, what do you hope your mother will recognize in your work?
I hope that she would recognize the feeling that I've created, and the style is distinctly mine. But I really hope that she would recognize the warmth and that I've developed my own point of view, and that I really am trying to make people cared for in my home by celebrating where I came from and who I am through my decor, my artwork and photograph selections, and how I evolve the home as my son grows, and just change the spaces to reflect where he is in terms of his mobility or his interests and whatever he's up to currently. So I really hope that she would recognize the warmth and the feeling that I bring to a home.
Oh, that's so beautiful. My gosh. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Annie.
Thank you.
If this conversation touched you, please follow Not Just a Home Thing from 2Pages and share it with someone who might need a little comfort today. Thank you guys. I'm Natalie. See you soon.